2 minutes. I don't know why it's 2 different numbers. That's weird. I am so excited for this because I'm officially back from vacation, which means we get to officially get back to daily streams, daily content, daily YouTube shorts now. That's a new goal for me, but you guys, whoever is watching this, most likely has seen one of my YouTube shorts, as they have been blowing up. And so I want to say thank you, anyone who has tuned into one of the YouTube shorts, and anyone who's tuning in now, and anyone who will be tuning into this in the future, as I'm so hyped to be back, and we got a full slate of things to talk about, both Panthers slash football related, and then we're going to hop into some Blue Jays talk. So to start, I guess we're just going to jump right into it. Not going to spend too long on the intro here. Texans lose to the Patriots. And if you did come here from the YouTube short, thank you so much. You clicked on the Collings Network. Please subscribe if you're here. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications for the channel, as there's going to be tons of uploads. I'll be filling your inbox. You're not going to want to miss a thing, as this was a crazy game. 8 total turnovers. The Texans had 5. CJ Stroud, 4 picks. I'm pretty sure it was the final number. Let's go look at the research, aka look at my phone, because I want to get this right. Yeah, 4 turnovers, 1 touchdown on 212 yards. That is, and 3 sacks. Not a great game for CJ Stroud, the number 2 overall pick in 2023. Now, we all know who the number 1 overall pick in 2023 was, and that's Bryce Young. The correct pick, which we all can see, clear as day. He'd never throw 4 picks in a game. Not my Bryce Young. So we all know who had just one guy's defense can carry him to playoff wins, and the other guys can't. And hey, if Bryce Young was on this Texans team, maybe the same thing happens. I don't think four turnovers. I don't think there's 4 picks. Not like this. But he's definitely going to die behind that O line. I feel sorry for CJ Stroud. First and foremost, I feel sorry for him as much as I can and am a hater. It's mostly just because that rookie year, everyone said he was top 5, and we all know he wasn't. Come on now. We all know he wasn't. We all know he was being positioned way too high, but some people genuinely believed that. And Bryce Young got called one of the worst picks of all time, one of the biggest busts in NFL history after his rookie year, playing behind one of the worst O-lines ever assembled in NFL history. If you ask me, this was before we brought in Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt. This was before Cade Mays was drafted. This was before, I think, Brady Christensen, Chandler Zavala were our starting guards. Bozeman, the Chargers starting center right now, was our starting center. So, yeah, we had it a little rough. This was either Icky as a rookie. I'm pretty sure Icky as a rookie or second-year player. So, yeah, Bryce Young had it pretty bad. CJ Stroud would have been a huge bust had not bust. CJ Stroud would have been seen the same way Bryce was had he been drafted here. And if CJ Stroud was the first overall pick, I'd be wearing a CJ Stroud jersey right now, and I would be banging my trash can like the Houston Astros, saying, this is my guy, this fastball is coming, this is the best, like I do for Bryce, who's going to be a future MVP. I just don't see that from Stroud so long as he plays behind that O-line. Now, if Bryce was in this position, he wouldn't have thrown 4 picks. We can all agree on that. But he would have died. He would have straight up died behind that O-line. They're not doing Stroud any favors, so, hey, I will give him that. But the rest of it, woof, wow, bad. Snowy, of course, big weather conditions, but I don't care. It's football, baby. That's what it's all about. If you can't play in those conditions, don't go play soccer. No, I'm sorry. So, great. Great. Love seeing the Patriots keep winning. While as a kid I did enjoy the Patriots, that was because I was stupid. Hopefully I've grown out of being stupid, but you never actually know. But so far, I mean, big Panthers fan. I believe in the Blue Jays, so maybe I am still stupid, but I think it is important for anyone who grew up as a fan of the Patriots that doesn't live in New England to realize what they're doing. You're rooting for a team that practices devil magic just as much as the Kansas City Chiefs do. So think about that for at least 2 seconds. That's my tip for you. As, let's go Broncos and Jared Stidham. Man, what happened? Why are we breaking our ankle? When are we breaking our ankle, Bo Nix? When did this happen? I need someone to point it out to me. I've seen like 3 different videos now on Twitter. There was the first one that I think most people saw on their feeds of him jumping up after a foot tackle, whatever you want to call it. I never played football. And he kept jumping up. And I never played football, but I have broken my foot. I didn't snap my ankle, but I sprained my ankle and broke 3 bones in my foot all at once. And I would describe that feeling as painful, and then the adrenaline kicks in, and you feel fine. You don't immediately get up like Bo, unless, he's the toughest SOB of all time, which, hey, maybe he is. It wasn't on that play. I highly doubt it. Genuinely don't think so. Definitely was probably later down the line. I heard someone say that it was potentially on the second last play of the game. That seems way more likely to me. Either way, sucks. It sucks. The Broncos probably weren't going to beat the Patriots anyways, but they were our last hope, at least in the AFC here, because our hometown Bills, I say as I live at least 30 minutes from Buffalo, our hometown Bills, that's, Toronto. That's who we cheer for here most of the time. Again, I have mixed feelings about that. The way the public perception is on Josh Allen right now is hilarious. Sure, the guy made a couple of mistakes. We all do. I'm not going to defend him for those. Those were bad, especially the one-handed fumble. We're done dwelling on that, though. Why are we viewing him not as a franchise quarterback still? Sure, he came up short, but, like, come on now. He's not even 30, or he's right around the 30 age mark. He's younger than Mahomes. I'm sure of it. Okay, I'm going to... all right, we're doing another pause. Research break. How old is Josh Allen? I want to know because, you know, I kind of bad. He's 29. Right around the 30 mark. I should have just believed in my gut, in my head. So, right around the 30 mark, you're going to still get 5 to maybe 7, maybe more great years out of this guy because he's proven he can grow his game and he's proven he has arm talent. And he's, you know, been better with the turnovers. He's been better at limiting the interceptions. And that's all brain. That's all IQ. And if he could keep working that, Buffalo has their guy. And I was talking with Nolan of, you know, the Collings Network. And he was mentioning, as well as from njthockey.com, go check it out. And he was mentioning how it feels like this is how everyone talked about Alex Ovechkin back in the day. How he wasn't the franchise guy, wasn't going to get it done. And then he did it in 2018. And now no one views Ovi like that. Loved eternally. And hey, I always liked Ovi. I always viewed him as the most fun player in the league to watch. I know my cousin was a huge Capitals fan. I think still is. So, you know, that's the type of, you know, impact he has. I see him in that same way. And they'll get it done. They will. Don't know which year it'll be. And I get why people would, you know, be very pessimistic and not optimistic in the slightest because it is Buffalo. But they will. I'm confident in that. Book it. And if Josh Allen retires without a Super Bowl, then I will be the one. I will go back in time, clip this, and freezing cold take myself. Josh Allen will be a Super Bowl quarterback. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. Let's go Rams, I guess. Let's go Bears. Let's go whoever's going to beat the Patriots at this point. Now, is that all I have to say about football for now? Yeah, we'll probably dedicate a different week to the Panthers all on their own. But now, we're going to shift over. We're going to talk a little bit about the Blue Jays. So, we're going to do, pop that over there. I would change my shirt, but I'm locked in already. We're wearing the Bryce Young. So, I'm not changing. We're just going to get right into it. We'll talk about Blue Jays first. I got to talk about Blue Jays first. I gotta follow the script because I really badly want to get into the meat and potatoes here, but I gotta start with the appetizer. So Toronto with 2 strikes here in free agency, unable to sign Kyle Tucker and unable to sign Bo Bichette. As both leave, the shift now in my eyes and many Toronto fans is now in Bellinger. And if we can't get Bellinger, then it is an offensive strikeout. Okamoto's great. Very excited for what he can do. Cautiously optimistic. It's a guy who's coming over from a foreign league. They could be great. They could be whatever. I think his name is Ha-Seong Kim on the Padres. He's fantastic. He came over from Korea. We'll see. We will see. Different league altogether. Of course, Okamoto's coming over from Japan. But other than him, who's probably now going to be regular everyday third baseman, we are one away from striking out here because I don't want Lucas or Luperfido to be our guy. I want a star. We need a star out there. We need a little bit of a, of a helping hand for Vladdy, and if Springer's hot, and a guy like Bellinger is definitely that now. But I'm so nervous about getting him, and after the contracts that Tucker got, after the contracts that I gotta not get into it yet. I can't get into it yet. I cannot get into it yet. I want to throw my phone. That's why I picked it up, because I want to chuck it. Because I'm thinking about it. Because I'm thinking about it too much. So, anyways, after the contract that Tucker got, Bellinger is probably going to be out of his mind thinking, I deserve $45 million now. If Kyle Tucker's making 60, then a player of my talents should at least get 45. Now, as baseball fans, GMs, everyone, we have to pray that he doesn't believe this. We have to pray that that's not what he is thinking. But if that is the market established by a guy like Kyle Tucker, who has never had above a 6, I know for a fact 7 batter baseball reference WAR, he's never had an OPS higher of 900. Bellinger's a former MVP. I mean, this guy can, in many ways, argue that he should be right there with him, and if not 90% of that contract. So that's just ruins the market. Just ruined it. So anyways, we got to hope that, Bellinger's going to accept 35 or 30 million on par with Vladdy, which hurts a little bit because Vladdy is so much better than that. But we have him for all those years, so we're good. We don't have to worry about that. Anyone who listened to me way back on CJIQ in the Tri-Cities area here in Ontario, you would know how ecstatic I was that Vladdy came back. That was so huge. We needed that. I guess I gotta get into it. So, anyways, last things I have to say about the Blue Jays. Super excited about that pitching staff. We probably have the best up there staff in the league. If the Dodgers get Peralta, I think that's who they were last targeting, then sport's over. Cancel the season. Anyways, we're going to probably get into that. Appreciate the Bills' love. Thank you, Nolan. He definitely saw the predictions I was giving there. And, again, it was me and you, Nolan, that we were talking about it. I'll take a little pause to the baseball because it's about to get nuclear, just to show some appreciation to anyone here in the chat and who decides to drop by. But, yeah, it's hate's a little too far. It's the same hate that Bryce got after a rookie. It's too much. Even CJ Stroud, he can recover, but he needs an O-line first. Anyways, shout out to Nolan. Thanks for being in the chat. We're going to get into it. The real problem with the MLB, and it is the Dodgers. It is the Dodgers and what they are able to get away with, and more or less the same issues that MLB was having with the Yankees in the 30s, the 1930s. We're dealing with stuff that was worse like 100 years ago when the Yankees ownership practically owns the other franchises in New York, like the Giants and the Dodgers, funnily enough, and were able to siphon their players over to New York. It's the same thing that St. Louis was doing to Cleveland back in the day. The Cardinals were just using Cleveland Spiders players and other franchises in Cleveland to build their roster. It is, and now we're seeing it in modern baseball, and it's not as obvious, clearly, but it might as well be. Ohtani from a franchise that didn't want to pay him because they paid one guy ever, and it didn't work out that well because he kept getting injured. Sorry, Mike Trout. They stole Mookie Betts from the Red Sox. The Red Sox, why are they cheap? Why are the Red Sox cheap? What is wrong with them? You are one of the premier teams in this league, and you're too cheap to keep your players, and that's why we don't have Mookie Betts on the. Hey, I'll take him out of our division, but still, it's crazy to me. Who else is there? Freddie Freeman. Shout out Atlanta. Who else is there? Teoscar Hernandez. Shout out my Blue Jays. It's just when one team is able to spend more money and get away with it, it's unfair. And now it isn't one team. The Mets are able to do this, which is unfair, except the Mets suck, and so no one really wants to be there. They don't have the culture that the Dodgers do, because the Dodgers do have a great culture. That's what the fans love to say. Oh, our culture's amazing, and woe is me. We weren't good until this decade, basically, and they're about to be on an MLB record playoff streak. It's just they were chokers before this, and they apparently want sympathy for that. Screw them. it is such an issue. And so the biggest thing why the Dodgers are able to do it, one, their president is part of a firm that is worth billions upon billions. Like, they're the second richest ownership group in the entire, or third richest ownership group, excuse me. Blue Jays are the second richest, only behind Stephen Cohen of the Mets. Blue Jays are not exempt from this. We are one of the richest teams, but we do not make, I think the official number is the Dodgers make around, not the official number, the rough number is the Dodgers make around $350 to $400 million more dollars than the Blue Jays in revenue, while they are both top 5 in spending. If anyone complains ever about the Blue Jays being cheap, they are not a real fan of baseball and they do not understand how the numbers work. Because the Blue Jays spend so much of their potential money, and shout out Rogers for being worth $20 billion. Thank you, Monopolies, for letting us have a good baseball team sometimes. But so the Dodgers get to keep their money from their TV deal. They went bankrupt a while ago, something or other like that, TLDR. They went bankrupt, negotiated that they keep 100% of their local TV earnings, and now they get to spend way more money than everyone else and keep way more money, as most other teams have to share the revenue, so lower teams have a little bit of money. This happens in basically every professional sports league. It's how these teams and leagues stay alive. And if one team goes bankrupt, or an ownership group or something or other, there's a lot of reading in it. And I read it while I was on vacation and drinking beer, so I don't remember most of it. But I do remember that the Dodgers keep their TV rights, and they keep their money. They keep, and of course they're LA, so people watch them anyways. So, to calm down and be rational, the Dodgers make $700 some odd million a year. The Yankees make $700 million some odd dollars a year. The third team that makes the most is the Cubs at $580 million a year. If you don't see an issue with that, then you're blind. I get Los Angeles and New York are the meccas of America and everything, but still, you're blind. And then if you break down how much teams are actually able to spend, like someone broke down the Braves, all of their numbers are public. They bring in about $40 million a year. You think they're going to sign Kyle Tucker for $60 million a year and then pay $126 million in luxury tax? Well, combined. No one is going to do that. No one is going to eat that money. No one is going to do that other than a team that has infinite money, because it's 2026. So that's the real problem with the MLB. How do you fix it? Unfortunately for the players, you establish a cap. Oh no, I only have to make $25 to $35 million playing baseball instead of 60. Woe is me. Shout out to, I actually want to call them out because I'm going off. Shout out to this person on Twitter that I had a back and forth with, because I think they're one of the biggest idiots that I have had the pleasure of talking to. It all stems from a tweet that says, why do players not want to try and beat the Dodgers, i.e. signing with other teams? Yada, yada, yada. Genuinely lose respect for every player that goes there. Coward mentality. That's me censoring. Someone then replied, would you rather have a job at a well-run firm or a third-rate firm, like law firms? Why would you ask this of other workers when you wouldn't yourself? So I respond, calling any other team than the Dodgers a third-rate firm is disingenuous, and you know it. You're saying the Yankees are a third-rate firm? Like, I would rather Tucker go to the Yankees. It's a division. I would be hurt, but I wouldn't think it's unfair. I would think, well, they're rich. They could do it. They probably wouldn't have given him 60. As we can tell by they weren't even in the top 3. He could have went to the Mets for $60 million, and I would have been like, that is a huge overpay. But that's not unfair to the league, because the Mets are bad. Like, they got Bo Bichette, and I'm not screaming about it. I'm like, whatever. It's a bit of an overpay, but it's only a 3-year contract, so it's fine. Anyways, they then responded to me. They said, all I know is you need to be more progressive and not be so anti-labor. Be happy when a fellow worker is able to get a bigger slice of the pie from capital and improving his working conditions. Which made me laugh. That was one of the funniest tweets I've ever gotten before. And I responded, we're really congratulating a guy for making $60 million when he was offered $40 and $50 million from competitive teams. It's all about competition, a competitive balance, and what is good for the sport. And what is bad. And what is bad is exploiting the existing rules because greed. And we are now completely running away from the gentleman's game. I read a lot of old baseball books, so call me old. I don't care. We are very quickly leaving behind the point of sports, I think. Like, sure, competition, like it is all about competition. It is all about gentlemanly competition between everyone. That's who it was. That's not how it started, but that's how it became for a bit there when, everything was integrated. If we take away everything else other than just best players facing off against best players, why would you want to be part of the team where you are the 7th best player instead of being on a team where you're the 2nd best player and could legitimately beat that team of 6 players that are better than you? It's there's no competition for that. I felt the same way when Teoscar Hernandez signed there. I thought, why? Why sign there? Why not sign anywhere else? You really have to go to them. And honestly, it's the same as when Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, and for similar circumstances, whereas basketball has the cap, but the Warriors are one of the richer teams. They were the most in the luxury tax by far, and this was before all the apron shenanigans right now, and they had a special contract exemption because of the way the collective bargaining agreement changed over in 2016. It gave them the opportunity to sign a contract that big because of Steph Curry's smaller contract, shout out his ankle injuries, Draymond Green's smaller contract, shout out being a 2nd-round pick, and Klay Thompson, who I don't think was paid yet. Or at least was fresh into his contract and then the same thing happened when they signed Boogie Cousins to the mid-level exception because apparently no other team wanted to give him a contract, which I still think is BS to this day. There's so many things where it's just, why do it? Why be part of sports if that's what you're going to do? And now, for me, it forces the Blue Jays, who are the next best competition. It forces the Yankees. It forces everyone to load up on this arms race. The parity of the league hurts, and the balance of the league is destroyed. The lower teams might as well be minor league teams in 5 years if the league keeps on this pace. So that's my main issue with it. Very emotional about it, but I've been thinking about this most of the week because I wasn't here to talk about it. So the main thing, should we hate the Dodgers? Yes, but not for the reasons we all think. We should not hate them for... Well, no, we shouldn't hate them for trying to build the best team possible. That's fine. If we're all playing a video game, we're going to do the same thing. We really are. In my Blue Jays GM series, if I was able to sign all the best free agents, I probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be entertaining. Either way, if I was not playing for a video, if I was just playing on my own trying to win as much as possible, I'd do the same thing. I would do everything within the current rules to win as much as possible. And that's what they're doing. There's no reason not to spend this much money. There's no reason not to sign all these players other than it makes the sport at large worse. Now, why we should hate the Dodgers is because they are the 1% and they know it and they play like it, and their fans don't for some reason. And that also makes me angry. But they are the 1%. Do you hate greedy people? Yes. I hope so. Do you hate people that hog wealth? Yes. Good. Do you hate scammers? Yes. Then you should hate the Dodgers. Because for some reason, LA bias or whatever, their prospects get severely overrated. I don't know what it is, but it allows them to make trades that practically no other teams get away with. I mean, there are lopsided trades, and then there's practically every trade the Dodgers have made in the last little bit. So that's why we should hate the Dodgers. That, and then they have one of the worst fan bases in the league. So with that take, I've probably angered quite a lot of people. And I've probably not made a lot of sense in most of my emotional ramblings, but we're here now. And we're back. So I hope you enjoyed. That's going to do it for all my talking points, and that will do it for the stream. My first one back. Again, we're going to be doing daily YouTube shorts, daily streams, and because I'm going to have a lot of free time coming up soon, depending on work situations, weekly videos maybe. We'll see. I just want to say thank you to anyone who tuned in, anyone who has made it this far in a rebroadcast of this. You're a real one. You guys are the best. I'm going to be back tomorrow, and then the day after, and then the day after. You can bank on that. This was a ton of fun. I love doing this so much. I had something I was going to say. Completely forgot it. No, completely forgot it. Peace.